Hi, this is Darren Williger.
And Chris Ruby.
We're proud to be here today with June Loaza, who is a successful entrepreneur and co-founder of Virology. We're going to be talking today on the exciting topic of how to keep your significant other happy in a relationship while balancing your responsibilities as an entrepreneur. June?
Hey, great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us, June. So basically, June, we loved the post that you wrote on this topic, and we knew we had to have you for this because you have some really interesting insight on this topic, from your points about how cuddling can be deadly in relationships to planning cost-effective dates, and really about dating entrepreneurs and what that entails and how that differs from dating someone who has a regular 9-to-5 job. So we just kind of want to get your feedback on that and what has been your experience, what's worked for you and what hasn't worked, specifically as a blogger dating a non-blogger.
Yeah, I am here prepared to answer every and all questions that you may have for me. Yeah.
We have a lot of questions. So being responsible as an entrepreneur with a couple different ventures, with your blogging, with your side hobbies and everything, how do you make sure to set up time and have a work-life balance that you're able to put the attention you need into your relationship?
No, that's actually a really great question about work-life balance. I used to have the mindset, especially in my early years as an entrepreneur, that the entrepreneur really has no work-life balance because your career is pretty much your life. So it's like an integration. Most recently, I have found a little bit more of a separation in my life and what I do in social media or in the startup world because I've proactively tried to do it. And it's actually improved my relationship with the girlfriend, although we've never been on rocky grounds, but it's just been a lot happier because maybe I don't spend as much time on Twitter or on blogging as much as I used to. Now I spend more time or more of my spare time focused on Kim. So definitely the work-life balance can be a very big challenge for any entrepreneur. I know I can name 3 to 5 friends who are entrepreneurs that recently broke up with their girlfriend because of the entrepreneurial career that they have chosen. So
really?
I guess, yes, they've actually broken up and they're really sad about it. And really, like, emotionally, it's really, it takes a toll on the entrepreneur as well because it's not just, okay, yeah, now you don't have a girlfriend, you're like free, right? Now you can work all day, but emotionally, it's really discouraging. And so you have like a period of like 2 weeks when you're kind of like really bummed and you don't work. So there's a lot of things that can happen in that sense that can affect an entrepreneur's work.
Now I have a question. Were these friends of yours dating entrepreneurs as well, or did they have regular jobs?
No, they had regular jobs, and that's a good point. Sometimes, the person that you're in a relationship with doesn't understand unless you really explain it to them, or if they're just a very understanding person. So, for example, my girlfriend, at the very beginning at least, she felt like because I was an entrepreneur, I could take off time anytime I wanted because I work wherever I want and whenever I want, right?
No.
But it didn't. So on her days off, she would assume that I could take a day off as well to spend the whole day with her. And we would get into arguments because I had to make her realize that, hey, just because you have the day off and I can work from wherever, it doesn't mean that I don't have to work. And that right there was a big point of tension, at least in the very beginning.
Well, that makes sense. So, have there been times throughout the course of your relationship where you've introduced her to your responsibilities? For instance, I'm sure at night there's times you need to check email. You're not having fun on Facebook or Twitter, but you're actually checking in on your business. How do you define that there's times you do the same things for fun that you do professionally for your career?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like actually anything strategic. Nowadays, I can tell you what I do nowadays. Oh, telephone. I can tell you what I do nowadays as opposed to what I used to do. And I think previously I would try to previously I would just say, hey, Kim, don't bother me. And I would like lock myself in my room and just work and try to like separate myself through that doorway. And, I don't know what it was. Maybe I was an asshole or something, but I just tried to be like, hey, I'm in my room, I'm working, don't bother me. And I guess it was kind of messed up, which it really was. Nowadays, I really, I'm a little bit more effective with my work. So I'm like, hey, Kim, like, give me 30 minutes to go through my email, through my work, and I'll get back, I'll be back in 30 minutes. So kind of like if you really give like a time schedule, like if it's 9 p.m. and I'll be like, hey babe, I'll be back at 9:45 to like watch TV with you or something, it really helps. And I've noticed that because she's like, okay, so she'll sit down on the couch and maybe she's watching like an episode of her favorite TV show, and then all of a sudden I'm back, and she doesn't really notice it because she's watching the show, and I'm back in like 45 minutes.
So you're pretty good about keeping that 45-minute time frame. It kind of comes back to your work-life balance commitment.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, especially in my earlier years, I keep referring to my earlier years, I used to think that everything had to be done immediately. Like every single email had to be responded within like an hour. Every single project had to be done, that day. But the more and more I've experienced work, really the email can wait till tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. The phone call doesn't have to be returned till tomorrow. The project, it's due in a couple of days. Yeah, it's good if you finish it earlier, but imagine spending that extra time with your girlfriend until 11 p.m. and then she falls asleep. Hey, that's money time. That's 11 p.m. till whenever I fall asleep for me to work. And so a lot of the times I'll wait for her to fall asleep, and maybe I'll, in Friends where they do the tuck and roll and you kind of like escape. I've done that a couple of times, and it works well because she's sleeping. She doesn't really notice.
Perfect. What's interesting is I asked a question yesterday to someone. I said, well, what is it like dating me? And I was not happy with the response I got. And I posed that question out to you guys tonight to say, if you were to say that to your significant other, what is it like dating me? Do you think you'd be happy with what they have to say?
I think Kim would be happy. I actually asked her in a video one time, what's it like to date an entrepreneur? And I think she said something along the lines of, oh man, maybe I might have already blocked it out of my mind, but I know what she doesn't appreciate. And in a previous post, actually advised to fill in like in your Google Calendar like a time slot hanging out with Kim. I was doing that for a while, and then then I was like, hey, I have you in my time slot from like 2 to 5, and she's like, June, are you filling me in on your calendar like just another part of your day? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I don't like that at all. Yeah, so I stopped doing that. She doesn't really like that too much. So,
what's interesting though? I like that though. I think entrepreneurs absolutely do need to use a calendar, and I like that. I think that's one of your main points about the importance of scheduling time into your calendar, whether it's a Google Calendar, Mac Calendar, whatever it is, but putting that appointment there so that you are making time, for the two of you on a daily basis or whenever you can, so that I think what happens is the sense of anxiety sort of shifts away and it eases down a bit when they know that, like, they do feel important. I think what happens is when people date entrepreneurs, they just think that their priority is always their business and the significant other will always come second, and no one wants to feel that they're second or leftovers,
That's a good point. I'm actually here with a friend today. His name's Brenton. Really good guy. He's the same thing, entrepreneur with a girlfriend, and they seem to be doing excellent. And I think one of the biggest difficulties is like, what is your number one priority? Is it your friends, your family, is it your startup? I think you just tell each one what they want to hear, maybe. I mean, I don't know. You got to keep them happy, right? Somehow.
It sounds clearly like the answer for every entrepreneur in any relationship is communication. You're making it real clear this is what's important. And your sense of urgency, you're able to focus a little bit more prioritized than in the previous years, as you mentioned.
Yes, definitely. Previously, I would also kind of take out my frustration on her. When the people you care about the most, you kind of take out the frustration on them, and it's hard. I did it early on. Nowadays, I try not to do it at all. And also, previously, I used to always try to get my girlfriend involved with my entrepreneurial activities, maybe help her start her own blog or her own company. And our biggest discussions or arguments have been because of that. About her career. And her, me wanting her to live a similar life that I do, which is work a lot. And she's just completely opposite. And I've learned to just accept it and, let her be. And if she does want to start her blog, which she did, she can come to me for it. So not pressuring her.
Now,
That's great.
This is a segue, June. We're going to have to jump to our next topic here. I know we're coming up on time. So everyone hanging out there watching, we got another topic coming up. So,
stay tuned. We'll be back in 2. Thanks, June. Thanks, Darren.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, June.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.